then you have to cast on a multiple of 10 plus 1 symmetry stitch and plus 2 edge stitches. As usual, we start with the edge stitch, knit 1, and then we start the repeat for this row number 1, and it's slip 1 yarn over, knit 1. So you repeat this until you have only 2 stitches left on the needle, only the symmetry stitch and the edge stitch. And here I have the symmetry stitch and the edge stitch, and it's slip 1 yarn over and the edge stitch, slip 1 purlwise with yarn in front. Now we don't turn the work, we just slide the stitches to the other end, pick up the second color yarn, put the tails together, and start a row number 2. Slip purlwise the edge stitch and start the repeat. And it's brioche purl, slip 1 yarn over. So when you have the stitch and the yarn over, you just purl them together, it's a brioche purl, and when you have a single stitch, you add a yarn over. And repeat. The symmetry stitch, it's a double stitch, so we brioche purl it, and the edge stitch in row number 2, we slip it purlwise with yarn in front, just like we did with the first color yarn. Now we turn the work, pick up the first color yarn, and start a row number 3. As usual, in color 1, we knit the first edge stitch, and then we start the repeat, slip 1 yarn over, brioche purl. And repeat until those last 2 stitches, the symmetry and the edge. And here are the last 2 stitches. We slip 1 yarn over the symmetry and then slip 1 purlwise with yarn in front, the edge stitch. After that, as usual, don't turn the work, slide the stitches to the other end and pick up the second color yarn, and we start row number 4. Slip purlwise the first edge stitch, and then we start the repeat. Brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over. Brioche knit means you knit together the stitch and the yarn over from the previous row, and slip 1 yarn over as usual. So repeat until the last 2 stitches. Here are the last 2 stitches. Brioche knit the symmetry stitch, and in row number 4, when we are knitting with the second color yarn, we slip purlwise with yarn in the back, the edge stitch, the last edge stitch. So these are the first 4 rows, of which the first row is like a setup row, it won't repeat, and rows 2, 3, and 4 are the rows that you will have to repeat after each pattern row. And the pattern row is the first row on the right side in color 1. Row number 5, knit the edge stitch and start the repeat for this row. Slip 1 yarn over. In these 2 columns we will do right slant decrease, so slip knitwise the first brioche stitch, knit the next one, slip, pass over that first slip stitch, slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over the next brioche stitch. So this is the right slant decrease. After that, slip 1 yarn over. In this column we will have to knit a 4 stitches increase, so we brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit. So you repeat this brioche knit and yarn over until you have 5 stitches out of this 1 stitch. So it's a 4 stitches increase. After that, slip 1 yarn over, and here we will do a left slant decrease in these 2 columns. So we slip knitwise the first brioche stitch and knit together the next 2 brioche stitches, or actually 2 stitches and the yarn over, and then pass over that first slipped stitch, and we have the left slant decrease. And this is the whole repeat for this row. After that we have the symmetry stitch, it's slip 1 yarn over and the edge stitch as usual, slip 1 purlwise with yarn in front. So, as I said, this is the pattern row, and after each pattern row you have to repeat rows 2, 3 and 4 that I showed you previously. But now that we have the increases, I will show you what you do when you get to the increase part. So after this row you have to repeat row number 2, and that means you have to repeat brioche purl, slip on yarn over, brioche purl, and here we get to the increase. We just continue, so we have brioche purl, slip on yarn over, and here instead of brioche purl we just purl 1 stitch, and again slip on yarn over, again purl 1 instead of brioche purl, slip on yarn over. So you have 3 slip on yarn overs and 2 purl stitches out of these 5 stitches, and then continue brioche purl, slip on yarn over until we get to the increase again. So slip on yarn over, purl, slip on yarn over, purl, slip on yarn over, and then continue the repeat brioche purl, slip on yarn over, the symmetry stitch, brioche purl, and the edge stitch, slip 1 purlwise with yarn in front. So this is the modified, let's say it like that, row number 2, because we have the increases and I showed you how to treat those stitches. And after that you just continue with row number 3 and 4 that are identical to the ones that I showed you, and we'll continue with the next pattern row, row number 9. Row number 9 and 17 are identical and very simple. We have to just slip on yarn over and brioche knit all the stitches, so we don't have any increases or decreases. You just repeat slip on yarn over, brioche knit. The single stitch is a slip on yarn over, you add a yarn over and slip it purlwise, and the double stitch, the stitch with the yarn over, you just knit the stitch and the yarn over together and it's a brioche knit. So you repeat that the entire row, and the same thing you will do when you have to knit row number 17. And slip on yarn over the symmetry stitch, slip purlwise with yarn in front the edge stitch, and that's the entire row. So after row number 9 we knit rows 2, 3 and 4, as I said, after each pattern row, and now we knit row number 13. So knit the first edge stitch as usual, slip on yarn over, and then in this column we have to knit 2 stitches increase. So we brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, and then slip the stitch from the needle, slip on yarn over, and here in these 3 columns we have to knit a 4 stitches decrease, and for that you can use a cable needle. I will show you, I have 2 repeats in my swatch, so in one repeat I will show you how to use the cable needle, and in the second one I will show you how to do it without the cable needle, as I like to do it lately. So slip knitwise the first brioche stitch and the next one 2 times, you slip them knitwise. After that you take the cable needle and you slip the next stitch purlwise and leave the stitch in front of the work. After that you knit together the next 2 brioche stitches, or actually 2 stitches and a yarn over. After that you pass over those 2 stitches that we have slipped on the right hand needle, so that one and the second one, and after that we just slip this stitch to the cable needle and pass over that first stitch that we slipped to the cable needle, and slip the stitch to the right needle, and that's the 4 stitches decrease with the cable needle. And this is partially the whole repeat, slip on yarn over, and here we increase 2 stitches increase. brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch, and this is the whole repeat. So we increase, decrease, increase, and I will do again the repeat. So I will show you how to do again the decrease without the cable needle. Slip on, yarn over, brioche increase, 2 stitches increase. So brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip the stitch from the needle, slip on, yarn over. And now I will show you how to do the 4 stitches decrease without the cable needle. Slip knitwise the first brioche stitch, the next, the third, as you did with the, as I showed you with the cable needle, you slip it purlwise on the right needle, not on the cable needle. That's the difference. And then you knit together those last 2 stitches. After that, I insert the left needle into this stitch that I slipped purlwise, like this, and then take that last needle between my fingers and slip it from the needle, but I have it on my in between my fingers. So I put it on my right needle, and then I pass over those stitches that I slipped, and then slip the stitch to the left needle and pass over that stitch that it should have been on the cable needle. Sorry, I have a split stitch, so like this, and then slip this stitch to the right needle, and you get the same result as with the cable needle. But if you don't have it at the moment, or if you want to do it without the cable needle, here's a way to do it. If you want to or know how to do it in another manner, you just do it. So after that, slip on, yarn over, and just do the 2 stitches increase, slip on, yarn over, brioche knit, yarn over, brioche knit, slip on, yarn over that symmetry stitch, and slip purlwise with yarn in front the edge stitch. So this is row number 13. After this row, you have to knit as usual rows 2, 3, and 4, and then knit row 17 just the way we did in row number 9. And after that, again, you have to knit rows 2, 3, and 4. And that's the end of the repeat. You have to repeat rows from 5 to 20.